Welcome back, everyone. It is time for Orioles baseball here on Out of the Park Baseball 22. And as you see, we are 0-0 because we have yet to start the season, but that's what we are here to do today. We are going to start this 2021 campaign. But before we get that far, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you stay up to date with new content just like this. Our plan is to do an Orioles video every single day throughout the week, so Monday through Friday. I'm going to get into how we're going to be playing games here in just a moment. I do want to kind of go over a couple last few things before we get started with the actual game itself. Now, I want to talk about the managerial staff real quick and our personnel. I know some people will opt to maybe clean house or just pick and choose what they want to do. What I want to do here is because I'm a fair guy. If I was taking over a team in real life, while I may want to hire a few of my buddies, along for the ride, I want to give everyone in the organization a chance to prove themselves, if you will. So I'm going to give everyone a year. If I like what they're doing, okay, we'll keep them around. If I don't, maybe their contracts won't get renewed, or maybe I'll just find someone else to kind of fill those spots as well. So I just want to kind of put that out there. I'm not changing anything when it comes to our managerial staffs. But one thing I do want to note is how we're scouting so far. So we're looking at a player development, and I talked about in the last video that we had 30 out of 30. I don't know what exactly I was looking at, but we actually have the 6th best farm system in all baseball. And of course, part of that has to do with our number 2 overall pick, which we'll get to in just a moment. But as I said, we're ranked 6th out of 30 teams in Major League Baseball. Adley Rutschman is currently our highest ranking prospect, sitting at number 2 overall. He is a catcher we need to watch out for, and hopefully he's going to be the future of this franchise behind the plate. Now, more important of note is a 2nd overall pick from last year's draft, right fielder Heston Kjerstad. So he's another person we want to keep an eye on. He's down in AA ball right now. So again, he's going to have some time to develop over time. He is only a year younger than Rutschman, who is also at the AA level. So those two are going to hopefully come up together and be a part of the future of this Orioles franchise. Like I said, there's a lot of future things for the Orioles that are exciting. Mountcastle's already up in the majors, and if you add those two pieces to the lineup, we could be looking at a pretty dangerous triple threat there. Now, I also want to shout out to Mr. Clay D over in our comment section in the last video, suggesting we also pay close attention to pitchers Grayson Rodriguez and DL Hall, which we will absolutely do. And as you can see here, all those players I've just mentioned are in our top 200 ranks. So Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, DL Hall, and then Heston Kjerstad. Now, the one player I'm looking out for at the moment that is not a part of the Orioles organization, he's a part of the Tigers organization. He's the only player that was picked before Kjerstad, and that is Spencer Torkelson. So I want to keep an eye on him because he has the potential as well to break out as an all-star in the future. But getting to him might be a little tougher than we're hoping for, okay? So what we are kind of hoping for, but I'm not going to count on it here, is trading for him, but there's a specific piece I'd have to trade for him that I think would make this work really well. Now, Trey Mancini is in the final year of his contract, and there's some trade ideas we have to maybe consider as you look at the preseason projections. We're not listed to do very well. In fact, we're 2nd overall in the American League in terms of the worst of the worst. Only the Rockies are the only other team that have a worse projection than us and the Tigers. Now, the Tigers are literally the bottom of the bottom in the American League, so them competing for a playoff spot is highly unlikely. However, if we want this awesome bet to work to get Torkelson into an Orioles uniform in the future, we're hoping for that. Trey Mancini has a fantastic first half of the season, and we have the ability to move him to, say, the Tigers, who are trying to compete for that. Maybe they're in a race with the White Sox out of nowhere. Maybe they have a solidified wild card position. We need the Tigers to truly outperform what they're currently projected at. They're currently projected to just score horribly, and while their runs that they're going to be allowing isn't entirely the worst in the world, I mean, a 4.98 ERA is just awful. 859 runs would be 2nd worst in Major League Baseball, at least on the American League side. Only worst team would be us. Currently, we're projected to give up 912 runs. Our pitching staff is not really worth talking about, at least at the moment. We mentioned, DL Hall and Gray Rod down in the minors. Those are going to be future pieces to help with that aspect of our team, but going back to the Tigers, we need them to truly outperform so we can possibly move someone Mancini if he's performing well to get someone like Torkelson in our system. I have little confidence we can make that work, but we can make a Mancini trade work by the deadline to offload him to a team that needs another piece to compete. So say there is a team that we need the Tigers to be that is competing for that number one spot in the division or has that wild card spot they want to completely solidify. Moving someone like Mancini, who is performing over his projections, might help us out in the future in terms of maybe getting some cheap prospects in return, maybe a cheap piece that's lower in terms of his service time in Major League Baseball. So while I wouldn't mind re-signing Mancini, he's someone I'm still watching out for in terms of possibly getting rid of him. Now, that being said, in a perfect world, once Chris Davis returns from injury, he's still got 2 months according to the game here. I don't know what we can truly do with him, if we're being honest with ourselves. Now, he's got possibly the worst contract in all of Major League Baseball. At one point in his career, he hit a lot of home runs. In fact, those just happened to be his first 2 years in Major League Baseball where he hit 35 plus or more. Unfortunately, he was a strikeout machine. He struck out too much, as you can see here on screen. So Chris Davis really got paid a lot for just 2 moderately productive years of baseball, and he wasn't even doing that great in year number 2. His OPS was under 800. His OPS plus was barely over 100. So he was kind of overpaid, and we're suffering those unfortunate dealings back then today. And he has 11 plus years in Major League Baseball. He's 35 years old. His best days are way behind him. We're not going to be able to get anything good for him, unfortunately. So the only hope we have for Chris Davis's contract is if we took the huge risk and put him into our starting lineup once he comes back and prays that he just goes off and just performs like he's never performed before, and he can kind of fill that Mancini role in terms of trying to offload him to another team that could use a power piece. I don't see any of that happening. He might be good enough for 20-plus home runs. That being said, that's about it. I don't see him performing even up to average standards. As you can see, his OPS plus has just been in the toilet the last few seasons. Last year in the short season, he only had 16 games that he appeared in, no home runs, drove in 1 run, just 6 hits. He's just been a terrible, terrible contract, and he's eaten up a lot. And it's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt us from signing other players, and it's going to put off a rebuild at least for another year or so. So hopefully we can get a perfect world situation happen with Chris Davis, but that would all depend on me actually playing him when he returns. So we'll see what we can do with Chris Davis eventually. However, let's talk about the game itself, because we are trying to play some baseball at some point, and we're going to be playing our game against the Red Sox here, but here's how we're going to be playing this season specifically, because while I like to personally control the games I play, I also know the nature of the series. Watching someone play every single game here in a video is probably not going to be the best watch. So I'm going to do snippets every single game, or at least most games within these videos, so you kind of get an idea of how our managing is going and who's hitting really well while actually seeing them do so. That being said, what we're going to try and do is to do 2 series per video. You're not going to see every single game. You're not going to see snippets from every single game. You're going to get like a bookended discussion at the beginning of the video and at the end of the video, and inside the middle you're going to see some of that gameplay happen. So we'll continuously looking at stats. We're going to continue to look at our scouting reports, see how our teams are doing, how our players are doing that we're trying to look out for. Of course, we're going to keep eyes on people like Chris Davis, where he's at in his return from injury, and what kind of decisions we'll need to make with him. Again, huge contract we need to get rid of somehow, because he's not going to be someone that's going to perform well for us, or at least at the point where our rebuild's complete. He probably won't be a major leaguer at that point anyway. So things to look out for. Like I said, it is time to play some baseball. So again, thank you for tuning in with us, and let's start playing. It's time for opening day against the Boston Red Sox. And if you haven't already, hit the like button as well, because that does help other people find this video just like you did. And when we do these games, I will go through the lineups of every single game. So for us, leading off will be switch hitter Yolmer Sanchez. Tyler Nevin will be at first today. Ryan Mountcastle is going to be DHing. I don't want to have Mountcastle consistently DH, but that's what I'm going to do at the moment, just to see what Tyler Nevin can do at first base. Pat Vlaco will be over at second. Santander batting fifth, will be out in left field. Trey Mancini, again, he's someone that we need to keep a close eye on. If he performs extremely well, he's going to be a good rental for another team at the second half of the season. Austin Hayes will be out in center. Freddie Galvis, I moved him up. He's going to be batting 8th, and he's playing over at shortstop. And then Pedro Severino will be catching. And then John Means, just like in real life, will be the opening day starter for our Baltimore Orioles. And we're at Fenway Park, so that means we got to talk about the home team as well. Alex Verdugo will be out in center field. Xander Bogaerts will be over at shortstop. JD Martinez is DHing. Bobby Dalbec is our first baseman. Rafael Devers over at third. Hunter Renfroe over in right. Christian Vasquez is catching. Franchi Cordero is in left. And then Kike Hernandez is batting ninth. Eduardo Rodriguez is going to be on the mound, so it's going to be a lefty-on-lefty matchup. All right, so we got our widgets set up. I personally like having our lineups kind of collapse over here on the left side, stack them up a little bit. And when I want to see maybe how they're doing on the year, we can kind of see what we're doing over here as well. And of course, having that quick action bullpen is always nice as well. So I got the out-of-town scoreboard. I like just seeing the up-to-date scores at the moment. We're playing the early game, so chances are we're not going to see much movement out of that just yet. So without further ado, when I play these games, I like doing pitch by pitch. So we're going to swing away first things first with Yomer Sanchez, see how the game will start. And as you can see, welcome to the start of the regular season here in Boston at Fenway Park. And Eduardo Rodriguez is on the bump. And we'll see a first pitch foul ball by Mr. Yomer Sanchez. And swing and a miss, strike 3. So the season starts off is about as good as the projections lead us to believe, as Yomer Sanchez strikes out on 4 pitches. Grounded slowly towards short. The throw to first will be not in time as Nevin legs it out for an infield single. So we got a base runner on here in the first inning, which will bring up Ryan Mountcastle. See if he can knock him in. Not too shabby. And he lines this one way up there. And that will be out number 2. So Mountcastle will fly out for the second out of the ball game. Which will bring up Pat Valaka. Might switch him and Santander at some point. So first pitch strike. 1-1 is the count. That'll be 1-2. The runner goes and it's slowly tapped towards the pitcher. And that'll be out number 3 as Eduardo Rodriguez. Pretty harmless first inning there. First half of the inning. Orioles do get a hit. And unfortunately, we strand one. We'll move to the bottom half. That's fouled away. Full count here. Got a chance to deuce that ground ball. Make sure that our double play depth is officially locked in, loaded. And let's pitch. This one hit into the gap, right center field. And things aren't going to be starting off well for the Orioles as Bogaerts will have himself a double. And they'll put 2 runners in scoring position. That'll be strike number 2. Good pitch there by Means. Low at the knees. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Swing and a miss, strike 3. John Means, after giving up 2 base hits, including a double, strikes out the next 2 batters. And I'll bring up Rafael Devers. It's a big plate appearance here. Ball 1. Ball 2. Fouled away. 2-2 count. 2 men on. 2 out. And this one ripped high. This one is coming down for out number 3. And boy, Trey Mancini will put it away. And the Red Sox strand 2. And the scariness is over. Ripped towards the third base line. Base hit. And the Orioles will give up a couple runs here. As the throw of the plate will not be in time. It is 2-0 Red Sox. Hunter Renfroe with a double, scoring 2. This one hit high. Santander will play it for out number 3. So 2 runs cross home plate for the Red Sox. We'll head to the top half of the 5th. See if the Orioles can make something happen. And that'll be ball 1 on Austin Hayes. And Hayes will rip this in the right field for a base hit. It's the 3rd hit of the game for the Orioles. And that'll be a standing double. So a good way to start the inning, especially after 2 runs come across. Strike 2 here on Severino. And that one ripped towards the right side of the infield. And that is going to make it through into the outfield. And that will be a run-scoring double as well. Pedro Severino showing off some wheels, and the Orioles out hitting the Red Sox right now, and they will put their first run on the board. 1-0 count here. And that one gets by him. A wild pitch there, and that will move Pedro Severino up to third base. Things starting to fall apart a little bit for Rodriguez. Christian Vasquez could not hang on to that one. And Yomer will look at strike one finally. That'll be strike two. It's time for Yomer to start swinging. And he'll foul one away. And that will also get by Vasquez. And Pedro Severino will score to tie the game. Score that one a passed ball. 2 pitches getting by Vasquez will score the tying run. So Yomer Sanchez, full count here. 1 man down. And Sanchez rips this one to left field, and that one will be caught at the monster. Well done by Franchy Cordero to grab that one. That was ripped hard. Nevin gives this one a ride to right center field in Triples Alley here at Fenway. And this one has a chance to do some damage. And Nevin will be at third, sliding with a triple. Wow. What an inning for the Baltimore Orioles. And now I'll bring up Ryan Mountcastle, the chance to give the Orioles the lead. 90 feet away is the go-ahead run in Tyler Nevin. Mountcastle will take ball 1. And now take ball 2. Missing for ball 3. And finally finding a pitch down the middle is Eduardo Rodriguez. Mountcastle's fouling that one away. It's a full count with 2 men out. Chance to give the Orioles the lead right now. Mountcastle swings and misses and comes up empty. The Orioles do score 2 runs off 3 hits. A wild pitch and a passed ball was a part of the madness. And we are now tied right back up after the Red Sox scored 2 last inning. Fouled away to JD Martinez. Fouled away once more. This one ripped high. This one's got a chance, and that one is over the green monster. JD Martinez gives the Red Sox a 3-2 lead. That one traveling pretty far. That's unfortunately what JD Martinez does best. That's a big fly, and it's a 3-2 lead for Boston. Ball 1. Ball 2. This one ripped high. It's got a chance, and that one is in the seats from Kike. It is now a 5-2 ball game, and the Red Sox slowly just crawling away from the Orioles score. It is 5-2. Second home run of the game for the Red Sox, and another fly ball over the green monster. Ramon Urias will come in to pinch run over at first for Trey Mancini, and that'll bring up Austin Hayes. And Hayes will check his swing, but it won't matter. It'll be strike 1. 1-1 count. Make it a 2-1. Strike 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And the Red Sox have taken 1 out away from the Orioles. 5-2 is your score still. Freddie Galvis will dig in, the lefty. At least for this at-bat, he's a switch-handed hitter. Inside, it's 1-1. Ottavino delivers ball 2. That one's outside, 3-1. And Urias will move up to second as Galvis will take a walk. Tying run is now at the plate, and Adam Ottavino seems to be struggling a little bit, and he'll have to come out of the game. As I'll bring up Ryan Brazier to finish out the game for the Red Sox. Pedro Severino 1 for 3 today. Struck out in the 7th. He doubled earlier. Strike 1. 0-1 count. Sanchez on deck. And this one ripped to right field. Will it come down? It will! 1 out single. And the bases will be loaded. Urias at third, Galvis at second, Severino at first. Now bring up Yomer Sanchez. He is 0 for 4 today. So Severino with 2 hits. This one is just a bit inside for ball 1. That one's strike on the outside corner. Now we strike on the outside corner once again. This one ripped towards the left side. Throw to second, throw to first, and that will end the ball game. A game-ending double play as the Red Sox will take game 1 of the opening series against the Baltimore Orioles. And boy, what a heartbreaker to end it on. Bases loaded, 1 out in the 9th. A new pitcher that was cold, and the Red Sox, unfortunately, were able to get the job done with a game-ending double play. And boy, the Red Sox had that one pretty much in the bag from the start. The 4th inning with 2 runs to start things off. The Orioles were able to answer on a pair of defensive mishaps, but a pair of home runs by the Red Sox in the second half of the game was able to give them the comfortable 5-2 victory and the first game of the series win. So good job to the Red Sox there, as the Orioles will find themselves down 0-1 to start off the season. The Red Sox will be 1-0, obviously. The winner in today's ball game, that belongs to Mr. Hernandez over on the Red Sox side of things. John Means will take the loss. 6 1/3 inning, 4 earned runs given up. He struck out 3. Unfortunately, those 2 home runs he gave up were crucial, as Kike Hernandez and JD Martinez were the deciding factors here in this game for the Boston Red Sox. Player of the game, Eduardo Rodriguez, is given that nod by Out of the Park Baseball. He went 5 1/3 inning pitch. He got the no decision, gave up just the 2 earned runs, and he allowed just 1 walk, and he struck out 7. So good job there on that aspect of it. But no runs were given up after he left the game. Hernandez officially got the decision as Rodriguez was pulled out halfway through the 6th inning. Adam Ottavino was injured. His injury status is currently unavailable, so we do not know the diagnosis that just happened at the end of the game. So before we get to simulating the next 5 games for the Orioles, I'm going to take a look at our inbox here because we do have some scouting reports to check on. DL Hall, one of our pitchers down in the minors, his current ability currently is rated as a 1.5 stars relative to Major League Baseball. His potential, again, relative to Major League Baseball is 2.5 stars. And here's a complete scouting report. He's a power pitcher who tops out 97-99, which is awesome to see. His 3-pitch arsenal includes a fastball, a curveball, and a changeup. He projects to be the type of pitcher who relies heavily on his stuff, as his control is unreliable. Hall could become a solid starter, but his stuff may prove even better in relief. I mean, when I see a pitcher with just 3 pitches, and those 3 pitches specifically, I'm not thinking starter pitcher, especially at those speeds. I want to be able to maximize his longevity, and to do that, I think he is absolutely fitted as a reliever, maybe a setup guy, possibly as a closer. Again, someone to keep an eye on, so shout out again in the comment section to our friend Clay, who suggested to keep an eye on DL Hall. We'll talk about Grayson Rodriguez's other choice in a moment, but let's look at Spencer Torkelson, the number 1 pick for the Detroit Tigers. His potential to Major League Baseball is at 3 stars. Not too bad. So here's a complete scouting report for him currently. They say he has tremendous power potential. He provides average defensive value, which currently is what it looks like our Orioles team has, so he'd fit right in. He has good plate discipline and projects to draw just 70 walks each year. Torkelson has potential to unleash his obvious talent both on the field and at the plate. So, I mean, you're a number 1 pick for a reason, so a lot of positive things are being said about this guy. Again, someone I want to be able to get a hold of. I don't know how we're going to make that work. Mancini, who I'm hoping to do great things, started off the season pretty poorly. So hopefully it's just an aberration on his entire season. Gray Rod, his current ability is at 1, but his potential is up to 3 stars, which is better than DL Hall. Here's what they have to say about him. He's got 4 pitches. He's got a good fastball. They say he has average stuff, but he's inclined to run up some high pitch counts. They say he has a tool to start, but more than 5 innings may empty his tank if he's being read well. So it appears he gets himself into some bad situations. Again, someone to watch out. We'll see how this game kind of continues his progress and go from there. So unfortunately, a loss in game 1. Like I said, we're going to do 2 series per video. So let's go ahead and sim up through the Yankees game here, the final game. All right, so our simulation is done. An interesting next 5 games here. We've split all of our games here. We're 3-3. So we took the series from the Red Sox, but lost the series against the Yankees. Let's check out the Red Sox game 2, how that went. It was a 12-4 victory. Boy, I wish they did that when I was playing with them. Let's check out how people did here. Trey Mancini had 2 home runs. Which is good news for us when we want to possibly move him. First inning off Garrett Richards. No one was on, unfortunately. And then he also did it again in the 3rd inning off of Richards. Rio Ruiz hit one as well off of Richards. And then DJ Stewart in the 7th inning hit a home run as well. On the Red Sox side of things, Xander Bogaerts hit his first one of the season, but that was it. Keegan Aiken got the win for us. He went 3 2/3, so quite a long day for him out of the bullpen. And then Garrett Richards got the loss. Only went 2 2/3, gave him up 7 hits, 6 earned runs with a 20.25 ERA. Not a great start for him, but a great start for us is Trey Mancini doing some things, man. He went 3 for 4, 4 RBIs. Mountcastle, once again, 0 for 4, unfortunately. Don't like to see that because this is who I want to see as our crown jewel, the guy to build around, and he's off to a poor start. Hopefully things look better in the next 4 games. We followed up with the rubber match, winning it, so we took the series from the Red Sox. Awesome way to start things off. No home runs for the Orioles. The Red Sox had one. Rafael Devers got one, as well as Vasquez in the 7th inning. King Felix went pretty far, it seems. He went 8 innings, just giving up 3 earned runs, 6 hits. Only struck out 2, but he gave up those 2 home runs. Fortunately, we were able to scratch a few out as well. Mountcastle finally got a base hit. In fact, he actually knocked one in. He was 1 for 4. Mancini 0 for 4, so he's kind of having a topsy-turvy start to the year. But not too bad. He's got 4 RBIs. He leads the team, as do the 2 home runs, so it kind of makes a little bit of sense. But hey, that's a series win. It's not bad. All right. Let's look at the Yankee series. In fact, we did really well at the first game in this one too, scoring another 12 runs and doing so pretty early as well. It's actually handed the Yankees their first loss of the season. Home runs, just 1. That's insane. And that was Austin Hayes in the 9th inning, so it took 9 innings for anything to happen. Mountcastle once again going 1 for 4. Mancini drove in 4 runs, so a good start for him in this season, 2 for 5. I like to see that. Again, I want to see Mancini overperform, become a great trade piece to somebody that needs an extra piece to make a playoff push. It's good to see. Yomer Sanchez is just raking right now. 3 for 5, batting .450. Love to see that. Over on the Yankee side of things, it was pretty hard to find anything great from them. Giancarlo Stanton had his 3rd home run of the season, however, so that kind of sucks, but he just continues to do extremely well. Only 4 RBIs for his 3 home runs, and that's kind of the risk reward you face when you have someone like Stanton batting second. You can get those runs early, but man, not many people to drive in if you're batting second. Looking at how we did from a pitching standpoint, things didn't go very well, it appears. Tate only went 2 innings. Not sure exactly what happened. He only threw 23 pitches. He didn't give up any runs. He struck out 3. I'm not sure what happened here. Let's kind of look here. His stamina is kind of low, so it might be horribly placed for now. We'll double check that. It appears he's actually a reliever, so I'm not sure why I have him as a starter, so that would explain why he only went 2 innings. Lopez, who was able to qualify for the win, he went 5 innings, and he is slated as a starter, so I might need to swap them for some reason. Gave up 3 earned runs, walked 2, struck out 6, threw 86 pitches, and then Zimmerman, he closed out the game with 2 innings of his own. Not a safe situation, obviously. 12-3 victory. Justin Wilson got the loss here. Take a look at him. He went 1 1/3 innings here as well. I don't know. Maybe this can't be right. He couldn't have started the game, right? That doesn't make sense. Kluber would have gotten the loss he gave up those runs. All right, maybe not. No, he would have came in here. So if I look at the game log, it's going to tell me that Justin Wilson started. That's weird. That is weird. Okay. Well, that being said, there's a 1-0 start to the Yankee series. It's awesome to see. So 3-1 start on the season. Unfortunately, lost the last two and eventually lost real big. Game 2 against the Yankees, kind of back and forth, as it was a 2-1 game at one point, a 4-1 game at one point, a 4-3 game at one point, a 4-4 game at one point, and this one only went 6.5 innings, as it appears. There might have been a rain delay here. Yeah, so the game was called in the 7th inning due to bad weather, so this game ended early, and the Yankees unfortunately had enough runs to end it. So 5-4 was the final there. No home runs for us in that game. Quite a few for the Yankees. Luke Voit had 2. Luke Voit only had 1, and then Cowart had 1 as well. None of us over here. Ryan Mountcastle 0-for-3. He's starting off the worst out of our starters. Hate to see that. Mancini was also an 0-for, so he was 0-for-3. Just 7 hits for the Orioles. We out-hit the Yankees, so we got that going for us. And then the big loss, the 1-15 loss. Oof. This one did go the entire 9 innings. The Yankees had 5+ runs in 2 innings in this game. Plenty of home runs, obviously none for us. Home runs, Gleyber Torres had his first. Clint Frazier had 1. Cowart had 1. Gary Sanchez had 1. Giancarlo Stanton had 2. Boy, and it was off John Means. So Means had a rough second outing as well. This time he gave up a lot of runs. Gave up 7 runs. Take a look at the Orioles again. And Mountcastle once again struggling. 0-for-3. Yet another game without any hits. Nevin came in for him. He went 0-for-1. And DJ Stewart was also in the game as well. So not a good end to that series. But 3-3, not a bad start. A little better than I thought. The Red Sox aren't going to be probably the greatest team in the world, but it was nice to have those 12 runs there. Another 12 against the Yankees, who will likely win the East. It's going to be an interesting season. When we come back for our next video, we'll do a Mariners game for that one that you'll get to watch. So we'll simulate the Boston game to start off the video, and then we'll plug in one of the Mariners games to play against them there. That'll be at home, so it'll be at Camden Yards. So again, I want to thank you guys for joining us. Again, this is kind of elongated, but when we play those games, we're going to kind of have a little bit of that. We'll have some of the discussion. We'll look at some things. We kind of went over the stats when we went over each game individually right there. But if you have any suggestions for what we want to do as a team, again, Mancini is someone I'm going to eventually shop around. Hopefully he continues to do pretty well. Chris Davis, once he gets off the injured list, we'll see about possibly using him. Hope he goes on a complete tear and we can just kind of flip him real quick. But again, let me know what you want to see. Again, if you haven't already, like it, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And we will catch you tomorrow for one of the games in the Mariners series and the rest of the Red Sox series being simulated as well. So thank you guys, and we'll see you later.